All right, welcome into the stream, everyone. It is Friday, and everything has been really on the move. It feels like the big caps haven't been moving much, but there's been tons of action, and we've been seeing a lot of people really make big moves. And one of those has been Pinky, who I'm bringing on in just 1 second. He has been taking the spaces world by storm, bringing a lot of crypto education and his experience every night at 6 p.m. Such valuable conversations are going on there. So it's been an incredible endeavor he's been on. He's been leading communities, and I'm happy to have him on the stream right here. Welcome in
Okay,
just
good.
now. Yeah, I was
Nice,
just
man.
telling everybody that you've been a lot of people, they may or may, depending how long they've been around, they may have come across you, they may have seen what you do in the space, or they may be seeing your resurgence here in this last little bit, getting to the point where you're actually stepping into your crypto education run here. So definitely want to take the time. I really have been focusing on this show being around people that I really feel that have high character in the space, that are trying to make good moves, and that also I feel are elite in their skill sets and the things that they bring to the table. So we can talk about anywhere from like the traits you need to have to succeed, to business things that have gone right, gone wrong, lessons learned, to surviving the everyday trenches like you talk about so often. So first off though, how are you feeling? You're in your
I'm good,
office.
bro. This is my you know, like the Happy Gilmore, like your happy place, bro. It's my car, man. I got 2 kids. And it's like anytime I can get alone and just drive, my brain, I'm definitely extremely ADD. So like when I can focus on the road and still think, it helps me do my best work. But I've been around a long time, like you said, man. You're dating me a little bit. Yeah, I'm old, man. I've been here for a long time, brother. And yeah, dude, and I really appreciate you having me on too, man. I really like what you're doing. I think it's really good for the space. For sure.
Yeah, the unks got to unite sometimes.
Yeah, we're
It's an
unks,
unk
dog.
world.
We're unks now.
Yeah, that threw me off when that started to get thrown out so casual. I'm like, shit, I guess
Yeah,
it has been a long time now. I am becoming an old man in the space.
we're crypto unks, man. But yeah, I mean, it's the space is always evolving, right? And like you said, I've been around for over 10 years. Done very well in the industry in a lot of different facets. Like I was a builder. I'm still a builder. I build things. I've been a part of many different like aspects of the industry with NFTs, building. I've helped build blockchains, cycles back. So I know the industry very well. It's literally all I do, right? Like I don't have a job. All I do is crypto. I've never in my life had a paycheck. Everything I do is like usually kind of crazy. Like I was a musician for 10, 15 years. Everyone thought I was crazy. Then I got into crypto and Bitcoin's at like $100. Everyone thought I was crazy. So the crazy shit I do usually tends to work out, you know?
Yeah, I'd love to go into that because you've touched a bit on this, and I it always is nice to round out where somebody came from, some of the inspirations, and it does lead to some of the creativity, even in brand building and things like that. That music industry background and some of the exciting things you've done, in life and with your passions.
Yeah. I mean, the music industry, it's like crypto, right? It's a grind. Like when I got into music, like probably didn't make money for the first 5 years I got into it, right? It's kind of the same journey I took in crypto. When I was getting into cryptocurrency, it was the old west where like there was no X, there was no, Telegram. It's literally you could go to YouTube and maybe Reddit, and then you have to get all your information there. Everybody in the world's saying you're crazy, that you're like trying to live off imaginary internet money. And all those same people are trying to get in it now, right? 10 years later. But the music industry is definitely like where my roots are, like initially coming up. One of my passions, obviously, music. And yeah, man, I've done a lot in the industry on that end. But when I had kids, once you have kids, man, you're not trying to tour anymore. You're not trying to do shows. Life changes, right? So I dove like right into crypto, and I found that's actually my real passion. I find out is crypto now. Once I got into crypto, I never did anything else. I used to have a YouTube channel where I lived off of crypto with my family. This is 10 years ago. You know how hard it is to do that 10 years ago? Like I used to have to go to Starbucks and meet some shady dude with a coffee to try to get like, $100 for some Bitcoin, man. And like, that was how you did it back then. And it's changed so much. Now you have all these, on ramps, off ramps with FOMO wallet. And it's like, it's so easy for people to navigate now. And it's beautiful. And it's, to segue into what I'm kind of doing in the space. One of the things I'm doing is trying to help people usher the people in correctly, right? Because we don't want them to get wrecked. We need them here. We want people to enjoy the space, and the new wave comes every cycle. And if you just destroy them, they're going to leave, and they're not going to come back, and they're not bringing their friends, right? They're going to hate the game. So I just think that when you've been in the game as long as me, you, I think you do have a little bit of a duty to like help the new people in if you have knowledge, things like that. And that's what I'm trying to do with the space, is just kind of make the space a little bit better for everybody, make more money, you know?
Yeah, a lot of times there are these things that we acknowledge and accept as an industry, like, oh, you got to pay the tax. Oh, you got to basically, there's this mindset of you've got to lose a bunch of money and learn all the lessons every single time somebody new comes in, instead of how do we establish some kind of entry point that allows them to not get massacred like all of us and
Yeah.
actually enjoy being here and find passion and feel somewhat safe in a really malicious and kind of crazy world it can be at times.
Yeah, it is it's kind of the nature of the beast, right? Like, you know, we're in a game where it's the game of money, right? Like crypto is the game of money. Everybody's trying to make insane amounts of money, and it becomes very PvP. And then as you go through cycles, you know, you get your bumps and bruises, right? And then it is kind of a normal mentality for people to be like, I had to deal with it, now you do, right? Like I got dragged through the mud for 2 years, now you got to deal with it. So, you know, there's always going to be those type of people, but then there's also, you know, I love this industry, man. Like it's given me everything, my family, everything, changed my life, changed so many people around me's lives. So I'm indebted to this industry, and I know like how hard it is when you get into this game, man. And like we don't want those people getting wrecked right away. Like just give them some tools so they at least can give them a chance in the game, right? Because that's how you expand the industry. That you want this thing to keep growing. We always talk about retail coming in, this and that. Well, instead of saying, hey, they're coming in, let's just destroy them. How about we just say, let's usher them in and let's get more and more of them in and let them move correctly. And then everybody starts moving better. I think people start believing again in things. And then everybody makes more money. It's, you know, it's really not that complicated math, right? It's just, it's hard to get out of the mindset when you've been dragged through the mud in this industry. Kind of changes the way you look at things, and you can get negative but you know what? I'm seeing a lot of people kind of follow suit on what I'm doing, which is what I wanted, right? I'm starting to grow a following. It's all about education and teaching people. It's not about like talking about tokens or anything like that, but I'm seeing bigger people start to do it, right? And that was the whole goal, is like if we get 20 people with followings doing that, growing communities, teaching them, that spreads, man. And I think that's what we need to do.
You have the right approach. It's refreshing, and I that to me is why so many people are kind of getting magnetic towards it, because they understand if people are up there talking about the stories of their downfalls, which we've all had way
Mhm.
more than we'd ever love to admit. If we talk about those and we reference why they were a downfall and how we would have played it differently and how we look at different things that are coming out now compared to how they were then, and the innovations, the ease of use, the lack of, like you had mentioned, FOMO, the lack of having to worry about gas fees, chain, anything. It's purchasability at a very normalized way. You can see in your mind, oh my gosh, these kind of apps are the ones that will onboard massive amounts of people, and those are the
Yeah.
ones we need to teach.
I truly believe FOMO app, things like that, is the bridge that we've been missing, right? Because it is easy ordering food on DoorDash, right? That's how easy it is. And that's
Yeah.
what's going to bridge people over. But here's the problem with that, right? It's not a problem, but here's the issue. You're catapulting them into an industry that has a million nuances, and there's sharks everywhere. Guys have been doing this forever. And it's like throwing lamb to the slaughter if they don't know anything, right? If they don't have any tools, you're catapulting them into a very dangerous industry if you don't know what you're doing. And it's a very hard, you're not going to win against a bunch of guys that do this for a living, right? Like it's not going to be a good, it's not going to be, it's going to be a bloody scene. And I think it's the gap's closed on entry, but now they're getting here. What do we do now, right? Do we teach them? Do we show them how to move correctly? Or do we just completely slaughter them and then they never come back, right? And that's what we want as an industry, as like communities. If we want meme coins to run to insane heights, you need people, man. You need a lot of people believing. You need hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people getting behind these coins. And if they get in the door and you kick them right out because you just don't want to teach them anything, well, you know, that's kind of not, it's not very doesn't make very much sense, right? If you're here for the long haul and you're like a real part of this industry. But like I said, you lead by example. You do things, people catch on, and then it grows, and it's a growing process, man. It takes time.
There's been a real conversation going on X right now, and you may have seen it. Between Rasmer posting talking about basically the industry is what it is. Like it is just a PvP, and it is you got to get in and out. And then people like Kaleo coming in and saying, "Hey, I get to an extent what you're saying, but I also think that this industry is built around going into higher conviction plays that you build and let play out." And it seems like there's kind of these two worlds colliding right now. It's even on FOMO or Robinhood and Solana. You have these people who want to build and build a community and enjoy a community. And then there's people that maybe are looking for aggressive, quick plays in and out of things. Where do you kind of sit in the world of the different cultures that have come around throughout this time on hold times, on building, on I guess how much the culture's changed over the years?
What you said, and I think there's two different ways of looking at it, right? There is always going to be this, it's part of the culture now, right? You have the Solana culture where it's in and out of coins, people are nuking bags, and it's just all about fast money. And then, you're going to have the communities that build, and you're going to have the tokens that do really well over time and build real communities. And those are the ones that go to insane heights, right? Is when they build that foundation and they do things properly. So, the beauty of this game is you can do both, right? Like you can, I don't hate any side of this industry. I think it's good to have everything. I do believe that this next cycle is going to be a lot more kind of EVM. When I say EVM, like Ethereum style trading, with Robinhood doing well, coming up with all of, and I think a lot of people are exhausted with the way things were on Solana this past cycle.
Yeah.
Not that I didn't participate, and I still participate. I love Solana, but I think a lot of people are exhausted in that style of trade. And it's good for both, right? Because I like to jump around too. I like and time will tell, but I'm seeing it firsthand. We are seeing a lot more of that kind of 2021 kind of vibe of people coming into the industry, man. So it's good. It's good to see. I like it.
Yeah, because when you look at even some of the tokens on Robinhood that have made pushes, the 2021 vibe was the cash cat scenario. You get this kind of run,
Yep.
then you get just buried. It's all over. Everybody get out. And like Solana people were melting. They're like, what's going on here? And then all of a sudden you kind of get that bend. The momentum comes back in. People start to see it. The right people all accumulate it. And then you get the true like confirmation leg. It did have that vibe of like the people who stuck with it. It's a community building. And I'm not in Cash Cat, but just from the outside, it was more of a traditional, like it's starting to lengthen. It's building a community. It's becoming like, is this going to be the meme of this chain? There are betas to it, like
Yeah.
Cat is all of a sudden now that's building. You're seeing at least on Robinhood a little bit of that Ethereum vibe of old, the EVM culture punishing people who are rotating rather than just
Yeah.
sticking with their winners.
Yeah, and one thing I noticed, and like, this isn't just a Robin Hood glaze, right? But I do like that I've seen even in the trenches, right? Because I'm in all these little group chats with all the guys that are, the trench guys, and the way that they came over to Robin Hood, I thought at first it was going to be just a quick pump, and all the Solana people are going to be there, really short lived. But a lot of them had a lot of like they enjoyed trading there, and then with the
Yeah.
new tooling and everything, it's easier. You can get in and out better with the terminals, and like the experience was good for a lot of these guys, right? So they got to come over to Robinhood, and they all made money. Like with this big run up we had when Robinhood launched, a real big competitor with Solana on like big meme coin runners. And then let's not forget, they just listed a meme coin on Robinhood, right? So now you have this dangling carrot
Yeah.
for projects on Robinhood, right? Now it's like, okay, wait a minute. There's actually somewhere we can get to if we work really hard. There's a possibility we get to that level. So that automatically raises the ceiling of like, how high can this coin go, right? It's not just like, oh, there's a cap at some point people will sell, sure. But if you do things right and you do everything and you execute, there's a possibility you can get to that golden gate right there, which is Robinhood, and be listed, right? And that's a huge thing for a chain. Being Robinhood and having that it's massive for the chain. So I think that's one driving factor for why people are so bullish on a lot of coins there right now.
When we saw that happen, I think when you look at across the board at where everybody hoped when base came out that the Coinbase alignment would be there, and that was always the dangling carrot. To see Robinhood hit exactly what you said within a month and a half, them do the exact thing that everyone felt base missed on, and Brian and all of them just did not get. It was that moment of, at least, yeah, it sounds like for you too, but for me, it was like, oh, yeah, Robinhood's here to play the real game. They're going to be a big player this cycle.
Yeah, they lean into it, right? Like it's very silly to not lean into what the world wants. Like the social metrics. If you, I think there was a crazy stat where there was more meme coin trading on Robinhood than their actual app day trading, like for a while, something like that, something crazy, right? So like if you look at that and you don't lean into it, you're just doing yourself a disservice, right? So even if they didn't come into it thinking that, I think they saw what's happening and they're like, hold up, this is big. Let's lean into this. Because why wouldn't we? This is what the people want. People want meme coins, man. That's just the reality. Like it's where the energy is. It's where the insane gains are. It's risky as hell, but this is what people want, man. People love the X's, right? And they're gonna keep funneling into crypto through meme coins. That's why FOMO app is gaining insane amounts of followers on the daily, right? People that have never touched crypto in their life, they're funneling into this space, and it's all for meme coins, right?
How are you navigating when you look at how you're positioning at this point in the market? And you can give your general thoughts also on where you feel we truly are in the market. But how are you navigating participating? Like, how do you balance yourself? How do you establish your blue chips in this moment, whether it's on chain or in your portfolio, along with how you're aligning to your mental model of where we are?
Well, I stick by the rule of like we're in a 4-year cycle, right? I've been here for over 10 years, and everyone always says it's going to be different, but it always kind of ends up the
Yeah.
same, right? We're a very cyclical industry, right? So there's always this is the super cycle. Oh, it's going to all it's the same stuff you hear every single cycle. We're not there yet. All you can do is look at past history and then make your decisions based on that, right? So moving forward, you'd have to say that we are probably somewhere close to the bottom of a bear market, right? And we're probably going to start turning up soon into next year when we have the Bitcoin halving. So if that's the case, well, then that means we got a lot of upside in front of us. Now we don't know when that's going to happen. So one thing I always tell people in a bear market, it's like it's a really good time to really start picking your conviction plays, right? Because you're getting these coins at the low, and I'm not just talking about meme coins. I'm talking about
Yeah.
Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, all of these majors. Like if you do want to buy them, we don't know where the bottom is, but if it's close to it, like this is where you set up your positions for the big boys, right? Because we're going to run up. Um, so it's not always a negative. When you look at a bear market, you make all your money in the bear market. You don't make your money in a bull run when it's peaking, right? You don't want to be buying stuff there. Like you can buy meme coins and stuff and have fun, but things that you're long term on, even meme coins you think have much potential, they all spawn out of a bear market. Like all the biggest coins ever have spawned out of the bear market. Pepe, Doge, all of these coins that have gone to insane heights, they all spawn right around this time,
Yeah.
right? So there will be a couple of these coins that do something crazy. But what you got to do is what I do. Obviously, I'm surrounded by a lot of good people. I'm privy to have like a lot of insight in the industry just from being here so long. So I have a really good network. But if I didn't have that, you really got to do your research on things and don't get blinded by like price action right now. Look at things like community, look at things like metrics. How many people are joining this? How are they coming into the coin? How's the leadership on this coin? Because if you want things to go to those levels, it takes time, man. It takes years to get to a Pepe, a Doge. Like it doesn't happen overnight, and you're gonna have a lot of bumps and bruises on the way up. But one thing you can look at is the metrics. You can look at, is this thing growing? Are they doing good leadership? Are they showing up? Are they doing good content? Are they giving up? Are they ramping it up? There's so many things you can look at once you start putting the chart to the side and not worrying about, oh, am I up 30% today or down 50? It doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things, right? Very hard to do for new people. They're glued to their phone, just like watching every second, right? That's why they all panic so. But the minute you can start looking for some of the metrics that actually matter, then you can start spotting out coins that maybe I want to take a position in where I'm just going to forget about it or just add to the bag every time I see a dump, right? Um, so yeah, I mean, for me, I juggle a lot, right? I got my project, Hood Pepe. I got obviously the group I'm building right now for education. I got a lot of stuff going on, but my brain works good that way, man. I'm ADD, bro. I need like 15 things going on. You know what I mean? I get crazy when I'm bored.
You got it. You got to stay locked in it. And it is a really, some of the most interesting people I've met through this space because there are a lot of people in this industry that are trying to do things that haven't been done before or a spin on something that hasn't been conquered. So you have all of these people that are willing to fail trying something, and it's some of these challenges are super hard. Like you got to think, even if we look at how layer ones were back in the day and then how much scrutiny they're getting now that people are going, oh, you don't make any revenue and your token doesn't have to do with your chain. Well, what now? Like, how
Yeah,
do we do this? And now they're all having tokenomics discussions because they're realizing now it can't, like, it was meme valuation before. It was just us guessing what the industry could be worth. Now people are starting to say, I kind of know what this is potentially worth. Now you got to show us why you're the winner. How do you feel in the industry, the direction and the maturity that we're getting to, where tokens seem to, as of recently, really heavily been integrated into revenue for companies for the first time?
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I guess it's one of those things, right, where social energy gets you so far, right, and it can get you very far. If you get mass amounts of people in, that's what you want. You want to keep growing things, but at some point, that does put a ceiling on where the token can go, right? There's a lot of different styles of coins, right? Like there's hybrid meme coins. There's just pure memes that will always just be that, and they can do very well. But I do believe that we're getting to the level in this industry where I don't know if I'm correct on this, but I do think you got to give a little extra if you want things to have longevity. I think it's good to have a flywheel back into the token. I was speaking with some of the guys from Giga Chad, which was one of the biggest runners last
Yeah.
cycle, and I actually listened to a space they were on, and I really agreed with a lot of the stuff they were saying because they're very one way, right? And they ran it up to like $1 billion market cap. And he said, well, now we got to flywheel into our merchandise, right? We have a clothing line we're doing, and we're gonna flywheel back into the token. And I was thinking to myself, I said that, that's if you want to turn things from going from a token and a meme to a business, right? To a
Yeah.
brand, which reaches far outside of our little bubble, then you got to take those kind of steps, right? You have to do things to position yourself to be able to reach far outside of our little bubble we're in, where we're all trading the same money. And you got to reach outside to the real world, right? Now, not everybody wants to do that. Maybe you just want your meme coin to be a crypto thing purely, and it's just social energy. But then you got to understand when that social energy goes and it hits that ceiling, the price is going to follow, right? And that's just the way it is, unless you get that social energy back. So I think a flywheel into tokens, depending on the kind of project you have, I don't see how that could be a bad thing, right? I think it's a good thing for any coin that's trying to branch out and be something bigger than just a cryptocurrency coin that only we know about. You know what I mean?
Yeah. When you get to a point where you do have a community and you have shown that there's a culture and there is branding, there's incredible, whether it's humor, whether it's just like, you can see where Giga Chad, there's probably plenty of people who the merch makes tons of sense. There's definitely a big bodybuilding and muscle type
Yeah,
community. Plus you add that in with culture. So I love the idea, although it's extremely difficult. And I'd love to get your take on this because music, branding, that's kind of that world. Looking at that, I
yeah,
think, to me, it depends. Do they have what it takes to understand the amount of effort it is to become a brand? And are they ready
yeah,
to do that? Because that's where I've seen a lot of people flop, is they kind of want to be a brand, but they don't really understand how to be a
yeah.
brand. So how do you take that knowing you've built the brand in music and probably in other realms?
Yeah, it's one of those things you don't want to jump into an industry you don't know, right? Like if let's say, hey, I want to be a musician, and it's a grind, man. It takes years and years to build the relationships, people to take you serious. It's the same thing in crypto. Like you don't just come in the game and you're the guy for the most part. But so like I would say, like if you're trying to become a brand, know what kind of brand you want to be, and make sure you understand that industry, right? Like you don't want to just say I have this vision where I want to be the biggest clothes designer in the world, and you've never printed a T-shirt, like. good luck, man. You got a big learning curve there, right? So you can't expect that to work. But if you've, like, for instance, like, if you've been in an industry before, you understand it, then I would say that is something that you could, like, take a look at. But if you don't know the industry, I would just say stay a meme coin, man. Don't try to jump into something that you have no idea what you're doing. It's literally another point of failure, right? Because if that doesn't work, that thing's gonna crumble, right? If you the thing about meme coins, and it's like, the less points of failure, the better, right? So, like, if you give 20 points of failure because you're trying to do too much, and a couple of those things fail, man, it's very easy to collapse the castle, right? So, keeping things simple and direct, and if you are gonna branch out, understand what you're branching out into, and then make sure you got some connections, and, like, you can actually move it forward, as opposed to it actually setting it back, right? Trying to do too much.
One thing that I've also mentioned before, which is a theory of mine, is the there's a risk in adding utility of any kind to a meme play.
Yeah,
It's because the second you have utility and you have traditional business metrics, you then have valuations and you have real worlds. And if you sit in a world of fantasy, then attention and all these things people don't know how to price are your price point. Where the
yeah,
second you start saying, I sell this much of this, I do this much of this, it drives this much into my token as a meme. I want that with the business, but as a meme, you then have to really make sure you can succeed because the bubble pops once you become a brand, a business, a whatever.
yeah. So I think one thing people miss when they try to do branch outside of being just a meme, it's always revenue based,
Yeah.
right? How do we make more money to flywheel this? Well, I think that's not right. I think what you need to be doing is, how do we get more people into this coin, right? So when you're flywheeling outside, it's not to get a few extra bucks to pump your token. It's saying, how do we get mass amounts of people to learn about this coin and come into our industry, so we reach outside of our bubble, and what's a way I can get more people here? It's not about price, right? Because anybody can, like, rich guys can pump coins all day. It's not about dollars, you know. So I think that's, like, if you're going to go into an industry or something where you're reaching outward, you got to make sure it's to get more people in, and get more people believing in the project and the token. And there's certain things you can do, like, art, entertainment, things like that. There's thousands, hundreds of thousands of kids and people that want to get into this industry, but they're not crypto guys. They want to come in a different way, right? Like, FOMO is a good example of that. It's just catapulting people in the easiest way possible. And that's not the only way to get people in. There's things all over the world that would actually usher people into this space if you kind of show it to them properly, right? So that's where my head's at with it, is like, get people in. Don't worry about trying to make money outside of crypto. The money's here. We got plenty of money in
Yeah.
crypto. Let's figure out how to get more people here, right? Let's figure out how to get all the people into crypto, and then everything grows.
Yeah. The culture is so unique and fun here. And there's really so much. I came from tech and I felt like I was on the front foot of innovation when I was in tech. I was in Seattle. It's one of the biggest tech hubs.
Yeah,
Amazon's down the street, Microsoft's down the street. They're both 15 minutes. And then you get in crypto and it's that piece where you go, it just feels like tech. It is the front foot of innovation in a way, but crypto is like the front foot in entrepreneurial innovation in like financial and social tech, which was just so
yeah,
it was so almost addicting to want to take on some of these challenges and understand, even to this day, how often do we try as an industry to define how social becomes capital and how capital moves to social movements and how we capitalize on a social movement and how to hold that attention for it's such a difficult concept that everybody's trying to solve because
yeah.
it's the way of the world of content now.
Yeah, and we're also, you left out that we're all a little bit
Yeah.
psycho. Anybody that's come into crypto, we've all lost our minds a little bit, right? You have to be a certain type of person to dive fully into crypto, and I think that's one of the beauties of it, right? We all kind of have something about us guys that are lifers here, right? Like, we all have some weird thing about us that we all kind of just can sense when you talk to a crypto guy. But you're right, man, and you got to remember too, man. Like, this is all new. Like, the meme coin explosion over the past 3 4 years, the social energy it's driving. Like, you have things like FOMO, you have all these things. Like, this is very new industry. Like, we are at the infant stages of where this is heading, and you can't. like it just keeps shifting in weird directions, right? And we're learning as we go, but we're seeing this wave of like just this new technology that's coming, and people are starting to utilize it, and the social energy is taking over, and meme coins have completely dominated the cycle last cycle, and I think it's going to do the same thing this cycle, right? Where it's and then you got AI, which is like so easy to build things now, right? It's getting better and
Yeah.
better. So now the crypto tech, let's be real here, has sucked ass for the past 10 years. There's a lot of garbage crypto tech, right? Like things don't work very well. Clunky as hell. Blockchains, like terminologies nobody understands. Well, with AI and the way you can build now, that's all it's getting fixed, right? So now the infrastructure is starting to be good. Like now when you get here, people can use it, they can understand it. They don't need to understand the blockchain. They don't have to understand how to bridge tokens to other chains. All these things that even people that have been here a while fucking hate doing. Well, we're eliminating all that, and now we're bringing the social energy in, and it's becoming like an organism that everybody's attracted to. And once you get here, it's like it's a bug, man. You can't get it out of you. Like you can try to leave this industry after a cycle, and you'll realize really quickly it's doing anything else, you know?
Really painful. It can be really painful. Some of those, especially the pace that this industry moves at, if you truly are ingrained in it, the consistent challenge you get to, you either got somebody coping on the timeline because they're upset that the industry's moved in a certain direction. They're not willing to
Yeah.
accept it. So they're trying to pull it back. Or you have somebody that is, even if they're frustrated, they understand and they just keep pressing and they keep learning and they keep adapting. And then they also know when to push something aside and say, hey, that's not me. I'm not going to be great in that. And I'm going to take on this
Yeah.
vertical, because there are so many different ways you can attack the industry, and to like force yourself into the wrong lane that you're just, that maybe not your strengths, that can be the thing that maybe tires you out, wears you out, stresses you
Yeah.
out. And then when you're mentally out of the game, everything falls apart.
Yeah, it's funny. It's one of the things I talked about in one of my spaces was like one of the biggest secrets in this industry, and like your biggest edge is knowing what not to listen to, and how to avoid things, right? It's not always trying to get into everything. And I think you learn that with time. Like there's so many different avenues in this industry where you can make a lot of money and you can enjoy your time, right? Like not everybody's a meme coin trader. Not everybody likes the high octane like volatility, and that's fine. But if you're thrusted into it through a thing like FOMO, you got to learn that, right? Like it's not just
Yeah.
about this. There's this and this. There's all these things you can kind of. It's like a crazy sea of things that you could get into, um, and you know you got to kind of learn what that is, where you fit in this game, because you know I'm been around a long time, man. Like I don't like doing that all day. I'm not in the trenches nonstop, just sitting there on my phone, right? And you got to be locked in this game, and then building a reputation where you get you get alpha, which is what everybody wants. That's one of the most important things. You don't have to sit there all day. You just get good stuff thrown your way, and then that's kind of the goal. But yeah, you're right, man. Like it is hard, right? It's hard to just sit back and really take the time to understand where you fit in the industry. And I think once you do that, it becomes a lot more enjoyable, because not everybody's cut out to do the same things in this game, but you can all make money.
When I jumped onto FOMO, probably I was late, but probably still early in the scheme of things in the last 4 to 6 weeks. When Robinhood came out, I said, hey, this is a good opportunity to challenge myself on Robinhood, but also be transparent with my wins and losses. Like I'm not sidewalleting. I'm just playing this market, and you'll see when I make stupid moves and you'll see when I make good moves. And I
Yeah.
saw consistently that I let myself at times let boredom just make you chuck 500 or 1,000 bucks in some random
Yep.
play because they got in it, and your feed's just like, they bought this, they bought this, they bought this, they bought this. Oh, that could be funny. And then you just,
Yeah.
before you know it,
Yeah.
I blew 5,000 bucks just while I'm just sitting here, because I let the kind of boredom in a casino get me, where
Yeah.
all the plays where I knew what I wanted, I knew what I was attacking, I thought I knew generally where they would go, and just sat them. I positioned and just sat for weeks, and they've been sitting there. Those were the ones that tended, most of them won, but the in and out, the catch something randomly, just knife
Yeah.
wounds all over the place. And that's the way this industry is. It wants you to look and be like, well, I have some cash though. what's better than cash is if I was in a play and that play was making
Yeah.
money, but then you lose on
Yeah.
all those stupid little plays.
Yeah, it's actually a video I did a couple days ago where I said the best edge you have is being bored. Learn how to
Yeah.
be okay with being bored in this game, right? Because like the best thing you can do sometimes is nothing. That's literally the best thing you can do. And
Yes.
it's very hard when you're in an industry where every split second there's something popping off. It's like you said, the casino, you got the bells ringing and people hitting jackpots over here and this and that. Like, so by nature, if you're in the casino and you got a handful of money, you're going to go play around a little bit. And you got to learn that there's always something next, right? There's always the next play. So you're not missing anything, even though it feels like it in the moment. All your buddies are high fiving each other because they just hit a 10x. It's like you got to understand that like your best friend in this game is being bored sometimes and be okay with that. And you'll make way more, like way better decisions, bro, every time.
Incredible advice. Incredible advice. It's so you'll know it the longer you're in here, you'll feel it. You'll feel the moments.
Yeah.
If you have FOMO open and it just goes pudding, pudding, pudding
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
day, every day, it'll get you.
Yeah.
When I look at how you've been in the industry, your content, the way you've done content around living on crypto, what would you say for what people have struggled with? I would say people don't always struggle with hitting wins, but people struggle to change their life. People struggle to
Yeah.
sell. People struggle to make a difference outside of the little bubble they're in, which is maybe send some P&Ls over. How did you go throughout your crypto career and make sure that you learn those skills and discipline to change your life, take care of your family, and make sure that you
Yeah.
never got in a position where you couldn't do what you needed to do in life?
Yeah, I mean, when I got in the game, it was a different game we were playing, right? There was no pump fund, there was none. Meme coins weren't like this. It was nothing. So I built a lot of things in the space, right? I kind of came into the space through projects, like helping on projects. I was earning crypto, right? So I worked with a blockchain to help build the blockchain. I would be paid in crypto. And that's one way, right? Like it's not just about trading in this industry. There's a lot of things you can do to earn crypto, right? And if you want to be
Yeah.
more than just a day trader. So that's kind of the route I went. And luckily, I got into crypto very early. So, you can imagine, right? When you're being paid in Bitcoin, when Bitcoin's under $1,000, it's pretty nice, right?
Yeah.
So I got lucky with that, but I've continued to build and grow in the space. And then obviously it's always about preserving your capital because you're gonna hit your big wins. You're gonna have you might make $500,000 from zero in the space, but the problem is you train your brain to continue that game, right? You have to understand where the cycle's at. You have to look at the market, how's it moving, where's the liquidity at? Because the minute that goes away, if you're still in that motion of trying to trade your way to make more money, you're gonna lose all of that money. I see it every cycle. I hate to say this, but usually you got to be through one full cycle to understand this because it happens to everyone. We all do it. We make a bunch of money and we lose it all. And then if you stick around for the next cycle, you learn from that. You make a bunch of money, you lose half of it. Next cycle, you make a bunch of money, you're like, okay, I'm only losing 20% this time, right? And that's just kind of the way it goes, man. I can sit here and preach to people all day how you got to sell and get out, but most people, they have to go through it and they have to understand what it's like to make a lot, and it's just as easy to lose it, if not way easier, right? So yeah, man, I mean, I think it's just be conscious of if you get big wins, right? Take a step back. I know they just look like digits in a wallet, right? But that's real money. That's real money, right? That you can do
Yeah.
things with. So take profits and have fun too, man. If you like to play, take 50% profit, blow the rest, whatever. But always be making sure you keep that profit. And a good thing to do is to move it over to stablecoin. So it's not in Solana or one of these coins that you can just trade easily, right? Now, even though you can trade with stablecoin now, but it's a lot easier when you got it loaded up in your wallet, your wins, and you're sitting there in the casino. Get that shit out of that wallet, man. Put it in a hard wallet, bro. So you have to take an extra step to get to it. It'll make you think a little longer to be like, okay, hold on, maybe I shouldn't pull all this and throw it in there. If it's all sitting in one wallet on your trading terminal, very good chance you're gonna ape into something you probably shouldn't, and maybe go a little too heavy. And just when you get wins, move it out of your wallet, bro. Get those wins, move it out, and just keep stacking that up, man.
Really helpful advice. Really helpful. It's one of the things I notice that I've had as traits over the years is exactly that. It's the okay, you hit some wins and you think you're taking profits, but you are, but then you're rotating it in the next play. So it doesn't count. It doesn't count once it's in a new play, because if I put 5 grand into something and it gets, let's 4x, it's a good play. You get the 5 grand out. You're like, okay, I took my initials out. Well, if those 5 grand just goes right into the next play, your exposure is still the exact same. You didn't do anything. You've just rotated. And that's what I think a lot of people end up doing. You're saying is you're in the market and you're, oh, it's still in the bull market. I'm just going to utilize my capital. And by the time they're done, they have had a ton of wins, and now they have 50 different positions. And then the thing 50% or the beginning of the end happens, and they're trapped in all the positions. There's zero cash outside. And your advice around removing it and getting it into like your own personal bank account in a way, that's incredible advice.
Well, and also too, right? You got to remember, like the goal in this game is not to make money; it's to get more crypto, right? It's like you want more Bitcoin, you want more Ethereum. You know, at the end of the day, cash is going to shit, bro. You want more Ethereum, Bitcoin, Solana. So when you do that, when you understand that you take profits and you put it aside, it's not to just hold it in a savings account. It's so right now where we're at now, buy the shit out of Solana, buy the shit out of Ethereum, buy the shit out of Bitcoin right now with all that extra money you made the last cycle, right? And that's how you create wealth in this game is, you know, sell when you're making insane profits, and then you wait and you be patient for when you're at the bottom of a bear market, when you're close to the bottom, and then you buy a bunch of Bitcoin and you stock that away, because that's what's going to 5x 10x over time. And that's really the name of the game. You got to remember, it's not about trying to make dollars. We're trying to make more Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, you know, all the top dogs at the end of the day, right? If you're in this for life, like if you really believe in what crypto is. So it's not that you don't want to spend that money. You don't want to dump it back into the market when we're on a downtrend, right? Because the most gains you can get is meme coins, but it's also the place you can lose the most money the quickest. So you got to remember that. And when everybody's telling you it's a super cycle and you start hearing these things all over the place, that's a pretty good indicator that I should start taking some profits and I should, you know, put some aside. And like, I think we're getting close to it. It plays out the same every 4 cycles. You just got to look at it. It's almost exactly the same every 4 cycles when we hit peaks and we start coming down. So yeah, you just gotta, you know, just don't be a dummy. You know, don't waste all your money back in the market.
Yeah, it definitely gets to this point where you hear that a lot, and anybody I've talked to that's been around, I'd say pre-2017 especially, where they've seen just a little bit more. That's something that's tends to be a core thesis. Two of those. One, they're still about Bitcoin being a core pillar to their portfolio, which I
Yep.
do feel like a lot of people have gone away from that. It surprises me, but the younger the person is in the
Yeah.
industry, it seems that the less interested they are in Bitcoin as a core pillar. The second piece is that the cycle is the cycle until proven otherwise. And it got nailed again on October 6th was the
Yep.
peak to the day. The 10th was the crash.
Yeah.
There's always an event that causes it, but it's always on
Yeah.
time. And it's insane how accurate it is.
Yeah, it is crazy, man. And it's just like it's history, and you can look at the data. That's all you can go off what we have in front of us. Sorry, my phone is like wigging out. Let me try to move. Yeah, and you know, I do believe that we are decoupling a little bit from what Bitcoin is. Like this whole new meme coin thing, the way it's moving, it is different. Like it's way different. And the way that people are coming in with this. So I do we're gonna see something a little different. It's not gonna be tied directly to what Bitcoin does. But at the end of the day, you know, it controls the market still to this day. Until that's done, like buy Bitcoin. Bitcoin is probably the best, safest investment that's going to do insane numbers that you can. And I'll say that, you know, any day of the week. I love meme coins, but you want more Bitcoin at the end of the day. That's where you're going to get real wealth over time.
Bitcoin's
Can you
always,
hear me?
if you've been around, yeah, I can hear you. That's been
Yeah,
a
okay, good. Yeah.
core pillar, and it's great. It's great to hear people. I hope that more people get into that mentality, and maybe even through learn the game, get a more of that feel from people who
Yeah.
started in this industry. It was always a core piece of what everyone's mindset was, is accumulating Bitcoin was the
Yeah.
ultimate show of like it, yeah, was mostly don't even put things in stable, move them to Bitcoin, get as big a Bitcoin position as possible was always the meta.
Yeah.
And I think when Solana came around was when that somewhat broke. It seemed like a whole new class that just did not care and almost didn't like Bitcoin.
Well, you know, I'm gonna be a little devil's advocate on myself too, though. Like I would say now that I'm looking at the industry, I would say, you know, personally, I'm not putting as much into Bitcoin as I would have before. It's probably about 60% of what I would, because I do think we are seeing something a little different happen here, right? And you got to be able to really look at things, especially when you're an OG in the space, and say, you know, there is some changes happening. And so I am kind of diversifying a little more out of Bitcoin than I would normally. But you know, I still think Bitcoin's the king, and it's always the same story, right? Bitcoin goes down, Bitcoin's dead. It's died like 1,000 times, and then it comes back, and it completely dominated the cycle, right? So you know, until that changes, you gotta go off what you know, and you know, Bitcoin is the safest, you know, best hardest money there is in the world. So I still believe in that Bitcoin's king and it will be forever. But the game is changing, man. And you gotta like you said, bro, especially when you're an OG, you gotta keep your ear to the street if you want to participate in this game. You can sit here and be angry about the way things are. You can huff and puff, or you can figure it out and make a fuck ton of money, right? Like it's really up to you how you move in the space. And then it's the truth. Like what you said was 100% true. Like you gotta either learn what's happening and things happen quickly, or you get left behind. It's just the way it is.
When you tap into what's going on here right now too, with token integrations, with innovations, a lot of the technologies, NFTs, even just tokens in general, a lot of the technology is finally being used in a way that we were hoping. Like if we look at Stockbroker, and I don't hold any Stockbroker, but the fact that they're utilizing NFTs to bring
Yeah.
together on-chain stocks, and like it's a merging of all these things utilizing technology. The more use cases you get of that, even you got Stonk, the separate platform on Solana. That token is a launch pad, but integrates with tokenized stocks pre-IPO and
Yeah.
memes. And then all of a sudden, you're like, wait, have I ever seen a token with a big amount of revenue have a token fully integrated to that revenue
Yeah.
from day one? I don't think we've
Yeah.
ever seen that run up through a whole bull run. And what that, like, if Pump Funds token was out from day one, the strength and the difference in how it would be right now would be astronomically different.
Yeah, actually, my boy DeFi Mark, who's one of my devs and a very close friend of mine, he actually pretty much kind of invented that technology. And
Wow.
I feel like it is kind of the future of NFTs in a lot of ways, and we're kind of seeing it firsthand. It's adding value in a way that NFTs. Hold on, let me move, man. I'm sorry. Next time. Okay, yeah, yeah. No, I feel like that is kind of the evolution of NFTs in a way, because it's always been a really good technology, right? It's one of the coolest technologies that have come out of crypto. But, you know, like anything else, it became about the PFP and then the social energy. But the actual tech itself and the way that it's evolving is massive for the industry, right? And then we're seeing ways that it's being implemented where there's value added directly to the NFT. It's not about someone has to buy and
Yes.
sell your NFT, right? That was always the issue. It's like an auction house. You sell it, but someone has to buy it. It's not an exchange where you can just sell and then pull the liquidity out, right? So it's become really a token, right? In a lot of ways, it's like an NFT is truly a token now too, and you can move with it the way that a token does, which everybody loves. So like the technology is growing in NFT, and we're seeing it, man. Like I'm seeing a lot of NFT projects. Everyone said NFTs were dead, and I feel like we're gonna have a crazy NFT run up here in the next few months. And if it's anything like the last NFT run up, it's going to be insane. And the other cool thing is, people that are from the outside that are new, they understand NFTs a lot more than tokens, right? It's a picture. It's something that you can
Yeah.
actually have, and then it's your identity, and it's like it's art. So like when they see that, they're drawn to it a lot more than just some of this techie stuff we have in the crypto space. So you get that social energy coming in. They get to be a part of communities, which is what NFTs are. It's like massive communities form around them. So they're real
Yeah.
fun to be a part of. And it's really like, honestly, I could see one of the biggest onboarding tools for people coming in are going to be NFTs, and don't fuck around and let the price start running up on them. Now the whole world wants them, right?
One thing
So
that I
yeah, man, I'm
think,
excited for it.
one thing that I'm thinking about that is the freshest, best feeling piece of this industry that's turning the knob and is going to make it. Because before tech, I was in finance, and so I had to always talk about it's personal finance. So you had to talk about people's portfolios and why they should invest in things and things like that. And you look at how we had to navigate talking to somebody about investing, not just speculating, not just kind of gambling on different things in our industry. It was pretty hard if they knew what they were doing to get to a point where it would make a lot of sense on true investment thesis, why it made sense to a traditional investor with size.
Yeah.
Now, with tokens, whether it's NFTs, whether it's the token themselves, integrating so that revenue, success of companies, these companies that are making, there's one of the tokens is they just put out, they made $500,000 of revenue in the first week of existence of their platform. Well, somebody with a token fully integrated, I think like 85% of the revenue goes into buying the token. So if you start coupling those things, then I could go to somebody with a bunch of money that is looking to participate, lay out very normal numbers to them, and they would say, "Oh, I think that if I looked at that on a year basis, I think it's going to be valued at this. So I'm going to participate
Yeah.
because it all makes sense finally. It looks like we finally have an industry where a lot of money can come in to
Yeah.
participate with real investment thoughts."
Yeah, I'm like on both ends of that, right? Like I truly don't think we need that, right? I feel like the industry is growing at a rate where it's the whole world's going to be somehow connected to crypto in some way at some point. And the days of like we need big investment money to come into the space for it to get bigger. We need all these like massive companies that are the truth is, bro, the more that comes into our space and starts trying to, the less it becomes the industry we love so much, right? I love the decentralized aspect of everything. I love DeFi. I love the permissionless things. Like I'm a purist in that way with crypto. So like I actually, when I see those things happening, I don't get excited just because big money's coming in, right? Like I actually kind of like, damn man, I kind of feel like the industry's changing so much when you see these massive corporations buying all the Bitcoin and doing it. It's like, you guys think you want that, but the minute that happens, this becomes the stock market, right? Like when we're not in control anymore because everyone's bought everything up and they're running the game, it's like this isn't the crypto that we all love so much. It can never be that because of the decentralized manner of where it's permissionless. You can always do something, but the more that comes in my mind, I kind of see red flags more than excitement, right? And I do think that that's all going to happen because this is growing at such a rapid pace and everybody understands crypto's here to stay. It's not a fringe thing anymore. Banks are adopting it. You got BlackRock, you got, everybody's wants Bitcoin. It's just going to go that direction. And then, investment, they go where the money is, right? If you can make money somewhere, all of those guys show up and that's what they do. So I think that's all coming this cycle, but it's also a big reason why I like getting into the meme coin space. It's like the opposite of that, right? Like
Yeah.
it's honestly the opposite of that. And nobody tells us what we can run up. We can get a coin as a community and we can run that shit to $100 million in one day. That's what we're able to do as a group of people that decide we want to do it. And that's kind of the beauty of it, right? So like that, I think that's what people are so drawn to with meme coins and the social energy aspect. And you can't stop that. It's impossible to stop.
When you look at all of those things, it's so fun to see the connections. And again, it's so fun to see the amount of verticals that exist to participate in the area that you love or to try a new area and test it out. If you don't know anything about NFTs, you might be in the collectible side. You may be in the revenue generating side. You may be in the ways they use it in the traditional world for titling of properties or whatever. It could be so many things you look at.
Yeah.
Memes, same thing. You could have the memes that are looking to be brands. You got the memes that are hilarious and dumb. You got the memes
Yeah.
that are paired with the tokenized stock now. Everything has a slice of what you'd be interested in and how much you want to go towards reality numbers or how much you want to go towards social. A little bit harder to grasp numbers, but there's still logic to it in a way. It's just a different concept of mind share capital.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it's just tokens, right? The whole world's going to be tokenized, and then we've been saying this for years. And it's the absolute truth. An NFT is just a token. It's an, you know, non-fungible token. All of these are, everything in the world at some point will be tokenized in some way. So it really is, it's like one of those things when you say something that you might have not really fully believed years back, but you just kind of preach it to people and then it actually comes true. I feel like that's what's happened with me over the past 10 years. I'm like, almost everything that I used to preach to people 7, 8 years ago, just trying to get them involved. I probably didn't even fully believe it myself. It's all
Yeah.
happened times 10, you know. I'm just like, damn, I was like Nostradamus over here. You know, now all my friends that I was preaching that to 8 years ago, they think I'm some clairvoyant. And but it's like, no, man, if you really look at it and you look at the technology that crypto is and like the way it's being adopted, everything's can be tokenized. It's literally one of the most important technologies ever created for humans ever. And it's the world starting to see it, right? It always trails, but everything will be tokenized. Everything at some point will be tokenized. 100%.
Hard to argue. Hard to argue with that. The one thing I want, Laura, I wanted to pivot really quickly. It's still aligned, but I want to talk about learn the game and what you're doing there. The focus
Yeah.
is you've been putting out content that's been really useful in your smaller videos, but then you're doing a space every day at 6 p.m. Talk
Yeah.
to me about that. Talk to me about the vision and what you're building there.
Okay, yeah. So learn the game is really just a place for people that are new to the space or just want to learn some stuff. It's not me being the teacher. I'm not some guy that knows it all, right? What I'm doing is I'm bringing people up that have been in the game a while, giving insight and just helping people along when they're getting in the industry because I know there's going to be hundreds of thousands of people that get flooded into this game. And it's something I wish I had when I got into it, right? I truly want to do it because I love this industry and I want to give back to the industry that's giving me everything. And then also too, man, I want to get some of these young kids that are gonna get all the alpha, bro. They'll be hitting me up. You know what I mean? I don't have time. I got to teach them so they can go do the work and bring the coins back to me. But no, it's just a good thing for
Amen.
the space to grow, man. Like I truly believe you need to usher people in properly. And now we have all of these things that are doing that. So let's harness that and let's like make the space better. Let's grow it and get this to a level where we're like at the end of the cycle we're like, man, that was a really good thing we did to like bring people in the right way. I don't like seeing people get wrecked. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to see people lose. They're gonna lose by themselves anyway, but I at least want to try to help with the tooling to give them like at least the basic steps of how to move in the industry, right? And then so what we're doing with that is every day, like Monday to Saturday, 6 o'clock PST. I do like an hour and a half space. Anybody's allowed up there to talk. I like if you're an OG, you're welcome to come talk and give some stories. And then if you're new, no question is too stupid. Like we all were there when we first started. Like come up and ask whatever question it is. I get DMs all day from people that are like, I didn't want to talk, but can you tell me about this? Like DM me. It's all good. I'll give you the best like info I have. And then just come up and talk, man. It's good for your social clout, everything, right? If you want to be in this industry. And then we're also putting something together to really grow that into a like a unit and into basically just a really big community, man, of people that are moving correctly that can I can help them get alpha, do all these things to help them move and make some money in the space. And it's in the works. Like within the next week or so, we have something we're going to be putting out to really start growing that. And then I'll probably start doing some streaming and maybe even a show. But right now, I'm just keeping it simple with the space for the first few weeks, grow that. I'll keep putting out videos on the daily and then just turn it into something big that can really help people, man.
We can never have enough of that. We can never have enough education in this space. And networking is so crucial to success in this industry, but in
Yeah,
business,
it's
in
everything.
life. So getting the opportunity to be brought up, getting the opportunity to come up and speak, ask questions, stick around. I mean, the more times you show up to a space like that, that maybe turns into a stream, anything like that, people start to get familiar with you. They start to trust you. They
Yeah.
start to think of you as somebody that supports them. So they're going to support you. And those relationships in this point in the market, if you show up and Pinky's like, ah, he's diehard. Like he's here
Yeah.
every time. He's asking great questions. He's supporting my content. When the time comes that you're doing something cool or he's got alpha or anything, he's going to think of
Yeah.
the few people that are always there showing up every day
Yeah.
and going to invite you into that community that might change everything for you. So I just want to
Yeah,
give
I
that
mean
as a shout out.
that's how it works in the game. If you're new and you're watching this, it's like I just did a video today. It's like your reputation is as equally as important as your portfolio, right? Because if you want to be in this space, it's your reputation is what people are going to look at when they want to invite you into things. If they want you a part of their projects, do I want to give this guy some alpha? He's a cool guy. He's done something for me before. It's all like it works together, right? If you want to be in this game. And I think a lot of people overlook that when they're just trying to make money and jump into coins and things. There's so much opportunity everywhere. And if you build a good reputation, you offer value, like people will reach out to you, and then you will get further in this game a lot quicker if you have that mindset, for sure.
So many people will sacrifice themselves for a quick buck in this
Yeah,
industry. And when you separate yourself from that and people, you genuinely connect with people, you genuinely understand that by building a network and by being a trusted person who shows on chain and off chain the kind of person they are, it having that network of trust will pay you out in so many more multiples than that quick check or that quick moment where you screw people over to
yeah.
capitalize and everything's burned. It's and people do it all the time and it's super
Yeah.
unfortunate.
Yeah, it's one of those things where you can be however you want in this industry, right? It's up to you. That's the beauty of it too. Like you get to decide the type of person you are. You get to decide how you make your money. You get to decide if this makes you happy. And you got to ask yourself that question when you're in this game. Like, am I enjoying myself? Do I like the way I'm moving? Do I want to really build something, or am I just here to try to extract? Like, and you can do all those things. It's up to you. But I've learned that, and I continue to do this. Like you surround yourself with the people that you want to be around. It's you get to decide who's on your timeline. You get to decide where you put your money. You get to decide what type of reputation you want to have, and it's 100% up to you. There's no right or wrong, right? You can decide. It's open game for everybody. But the way I like to move is I like to try to build something real. Everything I do, I always think far ahead of like where can this go? How is this helping people make money in the long term, not just the short term? How can this have longevity? And that's just the way my brain works. But everyone's different, man, and I think there should be a place for every type of person that still educates you and still lets you help you on your path to where you want to go.
What are some of the best things, in your opinion, what are some of the best things people can be doing right now to level themselves up and give themselves the best shot at succeeding in this hopefully big run upcoming with the
Well, I
cycle?
mean, obviously, the first thing is join my space every day at 6 o'clock PST, Monday through Saturday. You know what I'm saying? Nah, I mean, dude, just build your network, man. Like, you will find people that you resonate with. Reach out to them. Like, don't like close mouths. Don't get fed in this game. No one's here to hold your hand, right? So, like, if you don't speak up, you're gonna miss opportunities, and you might get the door shut in your face 9 times out of 10. But that one door that opens up could change everything. So, you got to be outspoken. Try to look for people that you vibe with, that you enjoy being around or listening to, or like spending your energy on, and like start building that network. It doesn't have to happen. It's not an overnight thing, right? You could get lucky, but it's just like coins. You get better as you go, and you learn things. Same thing with building your network. You got to figure out where you fit. Make sure there's people around you you trust and you like, and then opportunities will come. But it's not. I always say this: it's not a sprint. This is a marathon. It takes a lot of work, effort. If you want to be good at this game and you want to make a lot of money, it takes time and experience, and you got to be willing to do that.
A lot of people don't realize there's a sweet spot here during this summer, maybe let's say potentially up to a couple months from now, where people are a lot more accessible. People that you normally can't
Yeah,
touch, you normally can't interact with, are on a space, they're on a stream, they're putting content out. You get in a comment, they'll comment back.
yeah,
When things heat up, a lot of people become untouchable. They just, and it's not intentional. It's just that the tension starts going so heavily towards the people producing
yeah,
and delivering. So you have a really good opportunity. And I'd say this is the tail end of that sweet period to really dial in your effort towards engaging people you want to know in this bull run.
yeah,
Because this time, like with Pinky or other people you've had your eyes on that are the network you want, spend days going and engaging meaningfully with their content. Say what you actually think. Watch the full video, put a little thing together where they know you watched it and that you know you care. I guarantee you more than you think will respond to you and
Yeah.
engage you if you care enough to put a real comment in the comments.
Yeah, it's funny because like I come from the music background, right? And I've learned like we got pretty far in the music game, and
Yeah.
one thing I've learned, and it's just the type of person I am, I literally try to respond to everybody at some point, right? Like I don't mind taking time out of my day because if someone's spending their time to come up and talk to me or ask for an autograph or some weird shit like that, I would never not take my time to give it back, right? And it works the same way. If you're taking your time to go out of your way to like push someone's content and then leave a message and help them out, most people are going to take notice of that 100%, and you're going to have a way better chance of them responding to you and interacting with you, and then you can build that network, right? So it's always better to give first, like try to give first, and you're going to get a lot more in return. As cheesy as that sounds, but it really is the truth, man, for sure.
Those things are so important. Those are so important, and they're things for people in life. Like in a lot of these things are parallel to the ways you attack succeeding in life. And I love what you're doing with the content. I think there's going to be a ton of people who get put themselves in much better places by participating. I would love to see the number. I don't think we ever will, but I'd love to see the numbers on somebody who shows up consistently to that space
Yeah.
6 months, a year from now. What the difference is between people who consistently are showing up to educational spaces compared
Yeah.
to coming into this industry and just getting, haymakered over and over again by just
Yeah.
trying to feel it out.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's an you can't really read that stat, right? It's like an
Yeah.
impossible stat to read, but you can tell by people's demeanor, right? 6 months later, are they angry and pissed off, or are they happy enjoying their time? Those are usually a pretty good telltale sign of how they're doing. But you know, it's not for everyone, right? Like I want to build a unit of people that want to learn and move better in the space, and not everybody wants to move that way, right? But I think there's a lot of people that just don't have anywhere to go. Like there's literally nowhere for them to go and they're going to go spend a bunch of money on some paid group that's really not going to help them out. And they're just looking, man. I got the idea from that K coin that I was in, right? And I just see all these people flooding in, and they're just like chickens with their head cut off. Like, we're here now. What do we do? I've tried this. I tried this. I lost 2 grand. I lost 4 grand. And I actually have a kid that came in my space just the other day, and he said, "Dude, I've been listening to you for a week and a half. I'm making money now." Like he said, in 2 weeks, he said, "I'm starting to move better. I just made some money." So like it made me feel good because I'm like, damn, man, like it actually is helping people. I'm not telling them what to buy. I'm not telling them how to buy it. I'm just trying to make them look out for things that are going to make you lose money, right? Like let's minimize the issues that people have. Let's minimize all the bad things that can happen to everybody. And then you start making better decisions. And like, I'll never tell somebody what to buy. I'll never, that's just not the way I move. But if you move better in the space, you're going to make more money. It's just the way it is.
I love to hear that it's going on because it's unfortunate that there's a lot of a gambling mentality out there in the world. In the younger generation, it's kind of culture now. I would say there's
Yeah.
streamers. Everybody's sponsored by a casino. Everybody's sponsored by everything. And I'm not saying I have any problem with that, but I would say a lot of people look to gambling as a way out of their situation,
Yeah.
which is a very tough place to be in. And I feel for their desperation, but
Yeah.
it's like I imagine you would say too. It's more often than not gonna be the exit that they're looking for, just
Yeah.
because somebody hit 1,000x on their timeline. It's not reality for almost everybody.
Well, the truth is, it's probably going to get even more and more like that with the way that the economy. I don't know if most people don't want to hear this because it gets boring, right? But we are probably heading into a very big pullback on the economy with the things going on in the war, with the way the world is. And what happens with people is they start looking for ways to get out of their situation, right? And they always turn to things like crypto or gambling. And you're going to have a lot of people worried about AI taking their jobs and things like that. So they start looking at things like gambling as like a way for financial freedom, right? And I think you're going to see drones of people coming in to the space with that in mind. Like, I need to make some wealth. I need to make some money quickly. Things are kind of crazy in my life. My job might be gone soon. Like, I've heard all this stuff about crypto. So you're going to get those people flooding in, and you can do it. Like, this is if there's any industry in the world where you can change your life in a year, 100% it's crypto. But not if you don't know what you're doing. Not if you're coming in here blindly. you're going to get completely slaughtered, right? So with that said, like I do feel like the industry is shifting a little bit in a good direction. And it's just going to happen, man. Like people are going to come in. It's always that 90% of people come in just trying to make money. They don't want to learn the industry. They've seen something on their timeline. Their buddy made a bunch of money. And if we can get a handful of those people and give them the right info and like steer them in the right direction, then maybe you can change some lives. You know what I mean?
There's nothing better than being here and being in position where you and your network is in something and you're all winning on it.
Yeah.
It's just, there's nothing like it. You're sitting there and just thinking, it's so
Yeah.
much less fun by yourself when you make a call, and it's scary because it's not always going to win. But
Yeah.
when you're all in and everyone believes in what's going on, and the token is going up and up and up for what feels like forever, there's really no bonding moment, no
Yeah.
more special feeling than that generational
You'll
run
make some
with
of
your
the best
buddies.
friends of your life doing that. Like literally, like
Yeah.
when you grow something from the bottom to the top and you did it together as traders and stuff, you will literally make best friends for life. A lot of my best friends I work with to this day is because we got into a coin, ran it up over months and months and months, and then we became extremely good friends. And you like you said, it's that bonding experience where you built something together, right? And you guys got it to insane heights, and then when then you get to reap the benefits of your work, and then you have this bond and this like friendship forever. So I always tell that to people, like this industry is so much more than just making money. Like if you treat it right and you learn it, you'll never want to leave this industry. You'll meet the right people, there'll be opportunities everywhere, you'll make a shit ton of money. And you kind of learn that as you go if you stick around.
I'm going to segue here because I want to give you the opportunity to talk about this because it's a culmination of what you did within your professional industry, what you've done within the crypto industry, and it's a passion for you. It is a token, but it's more than a token for just you.
Yeah.
It's what me is so beautiful is that it seems to be everything you're passionate about wrapped into one thing in Hood Pepe.
Yeah. So Hood Pepe is, I launched it about a month ago, and it's a lot of people by design thought it was just like just a meme coin, a Pepe derivative. And we were doing like music videos and things like that. But it's actually a lot bigger than that, right? I'm building out an entire ecosystem for that coin. I haven't given out all of everything to everyone yet, but we actually have our first show. So Hood Pepe is an actual artist that we are going to blow up in the mainstream. We have our first show in LA on the 17th and 18th. We just dropped the news a couple days ago, and the people I'm partnering with are very connected in the music industry, as am I from being in it for so long. So we have a bunch of shows lined up already for Hood Pepe to be performing at pretty massive events, right?
Awesome.
So when we talk about the flywheel of bringing people into the space, that's where my head's at, right? It's not about just price go up. Right now, we're in the building phase of bringing community on, but we have an entire ecosystem we're going to be building around it. I like to call it like a hybrid, like a meme project, right? It's not a meme token. It was never intended to just be a meme. It's more of a project than a meme coin, right? It's obviously a meme, but there's a lot more to it. And that's just one aspect of it, the music side. We're going to be doing streaming. I have some other really crazy ecosystem things that are more on the crypto side for the people that don't care about music, because I understand not everybody's a music guy, right? And most people want to make money in this game, and you got to cater to the crypto side. And then my vision is to really bring a lot of people into the space. You got to juggle both for it to be successful. So, and I've been here just as long in this industry as I was in the music industry, so I know both sides very well. Trust me. So yeah, man, it's just a really fun project that it's not a 1 week, 2 week, 1 month, 3 month project. This is something I want to push deep into the bull run and far beyond. And I want to reach much further than just our little bubble we have here, through a lot of different avenues that I've already set up. So very early stages right now. If you do want to be a part of a good community, you don't have to buy the coin, whatever. Just jump in the community, learn about what we're doing. And if it sounds interesting to you, just jump in there and be a part of it. If you want to come to the show on the 17th and 18th, the flyer's on my page. Hood Pepe's first performance, headlining it's a horrible name for an event for crypto people. It's called the Scam Artist event, but what it is a conglomerate of like the best DJs in the world that are all, they call them scam artists, and it's in the music side. It has nothing to do with crypto. And all some of the best DJs in the world are all part of that conglomerate. And it's a headlining event where the entire industry is going to be there. It's a pool party, and Hood Pepe's headlining, man. And that's just the first one. Trust me, it's going to get crazy. We have way bigger stuff planned in the future. So yeah, that's my shill. That's my shill for Hood Pepe.
Yeah, I like the way you go about saying it, with a lot of it being come hang out with the community, network with the community. There's a lot of leaders from the industry hanging out in the chat. There's a lot of people on the space. You
Yep.
don't always have to buy something to participate or to utilize it for networking. People are just as pumped up of somebody buying something, or maybe even less pumped up than somebody who comes around and
Yeah.
engages the content, likes it, reposts it, says, "Oh, I
Yeah.
love that. Hey, oh, I'd love to see this." Feedback, thoughts, the culture and the creation of this artist, saying what you appreciate, saying what you'd love to see, those kinds of
Yeah.
creative outlets. That's so awesome. And that's one of those pieces where sometimes people get the financial side, they want to go down that route. Some people love the music side and they may want to keep them separate. Some people may love another aspect that rolls out. And I do have Hood Pepe. I'm not coming from a space that I don't personally own it. But the reason why having Pinky on so important is it's not just about one thing that you're doing. It's about, this is where this has been my catalog in the industry. This has been my catalog in music. This is what I'm doing now with learning, education, networking, letting people have a conversation with people who have been around. And this is a challenge I'm taking on that's most people aren't willing to do because there's reputational risk. And you're saying, well, I don't care because I care enough about this industry and about music, and I'd rather go out there trying to do something and find out if it's something than sit back and just be like, well, what if it doesn't work? Or what if
Yeah.
people don't like what I did and they think they judge me?
Yeah, I've never given a damn about what people think, bro. Like I'm gonna do, and I'm also a dreamer, man. I always think of like things that, because I want to do big shit, man. Like I want things to be much bigger than anyone imagined, and I like doing things that, like you said, you're passionate about. And I wouldn't go into something like what I'm trying to do if I didn't have connections on that side, right? Like we were talking about earlier. You don't jump into something like that if you don't have things lined up and connections, right? And it's also, I want people to understand that are a part of the project, like if you're in it just to try to get a quick flip, this might not be the project for you, right? Like if you want to be a part of something that can build and can grow to something massive, well, this might be
Yeah.
something you want to look at, right? Like I'm not here to try to pump someone's bag overnight and then you just dump it on me. Like whatever, I don't care about that kind of stuff. I want to build this into being a very, very big token that can cross over and bring thousands and thousands of people over into our industry and into the token. Everything's flywheeled in a way to get, obviously I want the price to go up. Like I'm not delusional. We all want price to go up. Everybody wants to make money, right? So do I. Trust me. Everything is with that in mind, but I'm not going to do it the way that the industry tells you that you should do it, right? It's like you got to do it in a way that makes that is good for the project, and it's also good for the holder. And and it's like I said, it's a long term thing, man. Like this is going to be going deep into the bull run. This is going to be something that keep growing, and we build on top of everything we build. We're not here for buy the rumor, sell the news events. I'm just going to drop dope shit on everybody all the time until you can't ignore it. And then, when it's that point, guess what, guys? You guys missed the boat, and I got all the newbies front running you guys because you didn't listen. So like, I'm cool with that too.
It's refreshing to hear. Too many people go with the buy the rumor, sell the news, and it's just this
Yeah.
catastrophic thing to their chart all the time. It's nice to see people deliver. It's nice to see people look at things as a bigger vision,
Yeah.
understand that building is the core fundamental of a great community, of a great culture, and understanding the bigger vision and brand. Building a
Yeah.
brand isn't an overnight thing. It's a movement and it takes time.
Yeah, and also I want to say one last thing about it, and then we can move on about it. But the reason I'm doing this is when you look at it, you might say, "Oh, it's music and crypto." Maybe we haven't seen that work a lot of times in the industry. But here's the reality, and I know this because I'm from it, right? I'm probably more OG than 90% of people watching this. The reason why things don't work in this industry, and I've seen it time and time again, is you have to be from the core of it. That's why I launched it as a fair launch. That's why there's no bundles. That's why everybody has an opportunity to get in at these low prices, like from the start. It's been about a month now, and everybody has an opportunity to get in now before things start taking off, because I want this to be from the core of this industry outward. What happens is people try to be on the outside and they try to come into our industry when things get hot. What do we do? Like, we don't need people's money. We don't need people's fame. We all make money here. So what happens is it's like repellent, right? Like, they try to get into our force field, we kick them out. We actually don't like that, right? So why don't we flip that on its head? Why don't we build something out of the core of our industry, where this is where we're all from, in the trenches, and we're here every single day doing this shit. And why don't we build an artist and a brand outside of, to go outward into the world, right? Nobody's tried to do that, and I think that, I could be wrong, I could be right, but I've seen this industry for a very long time, and I know that like Nike tried to come in, we kicked them
Yeah.
out, right? It doesn't matter who you are. If you're not from the core of this, you're not going to be respected. We don't need your money. You guys need us, right? If you want to get into crypto, you're going to have to come through Hood Pepe. It's not the other way around, right? If you're a music guy, guess who you got to collaborate with to get into our industry to be respected? It's going to be Hood Pepe. So that's, I think if you build from the core and you're truly from it, it's the only way things work to go outward into the world with crypto. And that goes for anything, not just music or art. It's just, we have a very strong culture here, even though we all talk shit to each other. We act like we don't love each other. Dude, we love this industry, right? We're very protective of it, especially the people that have been here over a cycle. So, we'll see what happens. But I really do think that's the formula to 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 work on both ends, right? For it to actually have a marriage.
Did I hear right too? You said you gave a little teaser of your lore on a space that at one point you had a special somebody, a DJ that a lot of people know actually opened up for you while you're in music.
Yeah, no, I came up in the era of like Skrillex and all of these real heavy like bass music. I did electronic, but yeah, I've had. Dude, it was a funny story that I just talked about, because I was talking to someone about how big you can get without knowing it, right? Like, I think it was Poor Goat I was talking to, and I said he was like, I was like, you have all this attention. I'm like, you can be the main character if you want to, right? And then we were just talking about how I said, dude, when I first started music, like Marshmello used to open up for me in some shows before he was anybody, right? He was just a kid
Yeah.
called .com. He did dubstep, and he opened for me on some shows in like Atlanta. Great kid, I really liked him, but it was more to just say, look, dude, I've seen someone that you opened up for me in doing music go on to be the biggest thing in the world in a very short period of time, just making the right moves, right? Getting with the right people. And it was just more of like me telling Poor Goat, like, dude, you kind of have the world in your hands right now. Move correctly, and you can literally be a main character in this space. You have everything right in front of you. And I believe that, and I also believe that with new people coming in, just because you're new doesn't mean you're not going to be the best trader in the game in a year. Like, you very well could. I've seen it happen with, we used to do SAF with me and Coco. Some of the biggest traders this last cycle all came from our first group when they didn't know anything in the industry. And I saw them
Yeah.
blow up to be massive traders like Lexapro and guys like this. They all came from our space. And I've seen it happen time and time again. So I try to tell that to new people coming in. Like, if you get really good at this, you can literally be the guy within a year if you really, really kind of learn the game. And I want that, because guess what? If you become the guy, you better throw me some alpha, man. You know what I mean? I taught you, bro. Tell me what's going on, right? I don't know everything. I want help too.
You got to know people in all these different spaces because you can't take it all on. There's too much going on, too many opportunities. So it's all about have some people that are really good. Doesn't matter their account size. There are some of the craziest trench or even just like super good alpha finders at any following size. A lot of them are really small and you'd be shocked, and they feed the biggest accounts because they're just the sharpest people in the industry. And
Yeah.
some of the biggest money are the smallest accounts too, because you got to imagine a lot of huge money is not like super in need of having a big following.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's such a wild space, right? There's just, you don't know who you're talking to. You don't know who's behind the PFP. And that's why I always try to stay open minded too, right? Like, I always try to answer every DM. I do the best I can. Just because, like, I've met so many people that I would never have thought that are like some of my best friends now. I've made a ton of money with. Just be open minded. Be willing to put yourself out there. Not, you don't have to dox or anything, but just put yourself out there, learn the game, and like be like speak your mind. You have to speak and like let people know what you're about if you want to like build good reputation in the space. Looks like my headphones are about to die, brother.
That's okay. Well, we're getting pretty close to wrapping up here as is, so it should be pretty smooth. Drop us where people can engage you, how to support you in the best way possible. Final words from you, and then we can wrap this thing up.
Cool. All right, well, dude, my phone sucks. Next time I'll be in front of my computer if we do this again, man. Like I don't. This was my fault. You know, I shouldn't be driving.
Yeah, no worries, man. Give your final thoughts, your final message, how people follow you, where to engage you. Just wrap it one more time. Tell them you're at on X so that they can all jump over and follow you.
Yeah, and I also want to thank you, man. Thanks for having me on, bro. That was an awesome interview, dude. Like, you actually made me think a little bit, bro. Usually I don't have to think too much, you know what I mean? But yeah, dude. So yeah, it's 2577 Pink on X. Spaces every day, 6 o'clock PST, and that's Monday through Saturday. Reach out to me. What else we got? I mean, you can go to hoodpepe.lol. That's our website if you want to get into that coin. And bro, just reach out, man. I'm out here. I'm always out here, guys. Much love. Let's build.
Awesome. Everybody have an amazing weekend. Enjoy the time with your family, your friends, your loved ones. Feast on the greatest dishes you can and soak it all in. The summer is coming to a close sooner than you think. And we will see you, or I'll see you next week at 10 a.m. Pacific time on Tuesday. Have a good one, everyone. And thanks for coming on, Pinky.
Appreciate you, brother. Much love, man.